each other, getting to know one another, talking about issues that we're all facing, good, bad, indifferent. Let's talk about it from one sister to another. Let's talk about it.
Sister friend, you. I was like, she muted. What's going on?
Oh, why always talk about I did it?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm tired. Is it just me, or is this second half of the year just been extremely busy?
You know what? That fallback time didn't.
Oh, let's not even go there.
Listen, we weren't supposed to do that.
That's hello.
That was decided, people. Like, government, get it together.
You know, make up your mind.
Make up your mind. Sign the bill. Stop it. Like, seriously.
Oh my.
Oh, yeah.
Can you believe we are already in November?
We are in November.
And this is a busy month.
Oh, yes.
I mean, they got to be aware of everything this month. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm so glad to see you virtually. You know, even though we see each other every now and then, that's not enough.
It's not. It really isn't. It really isn't.
Well, we want to just welcome everybody to Sister Friend. Let's talk about it. Wanda and I are thrilled to have you join us on tonight. We're super excited, as you can see.
We are.
For having all of you tune in tonight and be with us. Thank you so very much. We thank those who are joining in. And just, yes, do that. Say good evening. Tell us where you're from.
We want to know it all.
We want to know it all.
And we just want to remind everybody tomorrow is Voters Day. So please go out and vote on tomorrow. Like I said, there's a lot to be celebrated this month. You know, we have Veterans Day. So keep our veterans on the top of your list. You know, pray for them. Reach out to them. Give them a shout out.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Do that.
Then we got Thanksgiving.
Right. Look, yes.
Like I need to eat anything. I hopped on the scale at the doctor's today. I might need to pass on Thanksgiving.
Oh, Lord. But listen, in talking about the things that we celebrate in November, not only Veterans Day and Thanksgiving, but I first and foremost want to give a shout out to all those who are pancreatic cancer overcomers.
Amen. Woo! Including our dear own Cassandra Ford. Woo!
10 years.
Hey, look at that.
10 years. God is faithful.
Wow.
God is faithful. God, don't get
Yes, he is.
started.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Y'all get the tissues out. It's gonna be one of them shows today.
Oh my God. I'm so grateful and thankful. And you know, I also want to just encourage those who are going through it even now, you know, to hang in there, to trust God, to surround yourself with people who will cheer you on and help you in this fight. And we also want to just send love and prayers to those who have lost loved ones to pancreatic cancer, because it's not pretty. And so I just want to just personally just say, right.
If you can get early screening, although they don't really have a specific test for pancreatic cancer, please go and get your colonoscopies. Please stop being afraid. They put you to sleep. Get the test done. Look, I've lost my grandmother, my father, and my closest cousin to pancreatic cancer. So it's serious. You know, so I thank God every day that Cassandra is still here with us. So please get your screenings as much as possible, not just for pancreatic cancer or colon cancer, for all of them. Go get your mammograms.
Right.
Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Get your pap smears.
All of
it, because it's cervical cancer month as well. So get your pap smear so they can check you out.
and also thyroid cancer awareness. It's also early childhood mental health awareness month, and National Glaucoma Awareness Month. I mean, it's several National Birth Defects Prevention Month, and I didn't know this was something that had a month, but that's important. Stalking awareness, like people don't realize when they're being stalked.
That's right.
You have to think about that, and it's not just for those that are young, but even our seniors.
That's right. If domestic violence has a month, then stalking needs a month too. I mean, it's happening every day. We got to stop taking things lightly and for granted. You know, it's also Radon Awareness Month. So, you know, if you haven't had your house tested, make sure you get those tests done. Get those detectors in your house. You can do that as well.
Exactly.
And it's also National Blood Donor Month. So if you're able to donate blood, because everybody's not able, but if you're able, please donate.
Yeah.
Please donate, especially if you're O positive.
Yeah. Right. That's a how do you say it? That's a national, not a national, you know, it's one of those blood types is needed.
Your blood type can help everybody.
Help everybody, yeah. Especially if you can. So thank you for just being supportive of all those things and keeping them in prayer as well. We have special guests on tonight that are going to come and share, because we're talking about caregivers. It's you know, like we said, it's National Caregivers Month as well, and that's the thing we're going to focus and highlight on tonight. So we are excited that we have special guests to join us on those challenges and rewards of caregiving.
Amen.
So we want to first, I just want to give a hand of applause to all the caregivers first and foremost.
All of them.
Yes.
Because that is a hard job.
Right.
It's serious. It's a time-consuming job.
Definitely, for sure. And I know we were having some technical difficulties in the background. So I know that my husband was going to be on here tonight. And I'm sure he popped in, and like he popped back out. I think there's something going on technically with his computer or something. So we are going to just keep praying that he's able to join. If not, I'm excited because we have Lady India Scott and Willingboro down in your neck of the woods.
Right around the corner.
Yes. We have her on today.
Right, one of my neighbors.
How are you?
I'm great. Excellent. How are you?
Oh, we're good. We're good.
We are honored to have you with us on today.
Yes.
Glad to be here.
Because we know as a caregiver, your time is of essence, and time, you know, is very time consuming, but it's also rewarding. So we want to first, before we even get started into the questions, Lady India, just tell us a little about who you are.
Well, I'm Lady India. I'm married to my husband, Pastor Vondell Scott.
Oh, you haven't married.
Yes, March will be 14 years. Praise God.
Congratulations. Yes.
I have 3 children, 2 stepchildren.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a paraprofessional in a elementary school, high school, and middle school.
Oh, wow.
I'm also a caregiver now for my middle son.
Nice.
And to God be the glory. I had a birthday, October 18th. I turned 50, so I'm 50 club.
Welcome to the club.
Yes,
I'm about to leave the club. Welcome to the club.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, we want to get right into our questions. We know our time is moving because of the technical stuff. We want to get right into those questions. So I don't know, Juan, if you want to start out. Let's get it going. This question's our caregiver.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit of what it's like to be a caregiver.
Well, to be a caregiver, I would say you would have to put yourself in the patient's or the loved one's shoes. Meaning, how would you want to be treated if you was in that situation? How you want to be talked to, cared for, and just, having like a companion if need be. So I would just say, if I was in the other person's shoes, how would I want to be treated? That's how I would be a caregiver. how I tend to be a caregiver, just
Okay.
of the other person's needs.
That's interesting that you said that, because one of the things that I always talk about, just that really, is
Mhm.
putting yourself in that person's
Yeah.
shoes. Like, how
Yeah.
would you want, you said, how would you want to be treated? Like, even like down to food. Like, do you want your
Yes.
food cold? You know, like how
Mhm.
sometimes people just
Right.
assume when giving away things, we make those
Yeah.
assumptions. Oh, I don't want
Mhm.
this, so I'm gonna give.
Mhm.
If you don't want it,
Mhm.
they don't want it, right?
Mhm.
So I think
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
that's definitely a way to look at it, and being able
Mhm.
to serve with love, because that's what it is. It's really
Yes,
service.
you have to have love. If you don't have, listen, it has to be here first,
Yes.
because what's in here is going to come out automatically.
Right.
So if you love already and
Yeah.
it's genuine, that person going to want you there every second, because that's what they need.
Right.
They need that love, They need that
Right.
love. Yeah.
I think it also requires a lot of patience, right? Because I know,
Yeah.
because and there we have caregivers, and everybody's not dealing with the same situation. Like I know my
Right.
mother had dementia, and my
Mhm.
oldest sister was her main caregiver, but we kind of shared the load with her. But I know because, and I just posted something recently about, you know, exactly what you're saying, putting yourself in their shoes, because a lot of people are impatient with people with dementia because they don't
Yeah.
remember things or they get upset. But
Mhm.
imagine how that person feels that they can't remember who you are,
Right.
especially if
Right.
you're their child. So you got to
Mhm.
think about those things. So
Yeah.
it's
Yes. Yes.
definitely, you know.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
that situation also. Towards the end for my mom, she started forgetting everything. She was saying things like, "Indians are outside," and "Hurry up, get me out the room." It was like a lot of stuff she was saying. I said, "Oh
Hmm.
boy." So I see what's going on, and it was so hurtful and painful to see that. And my mom, she couldn't. She would call
Yeah.
me other people's names and say, "Who are
Hmm.
you?" It was tough. It was
Yeah.
tough,
Oh
but
yeah,
telling you, the grace of God, He's the only one who got me through it. The
I'm
only
sure.
one.
I'm
Yes.
sure.
And I'm glad you're sharing that, because a lot of people need to know. They need to know what it's really like, and that's where that
Yeah.
question is coming from. What is it like to be a caregiver? Because people sometimes they just focus on it's a lot of work, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
It's a lot of work, but what else is it? Like what, like you said, it takes a lot of love, right? Did you have help?
Mhm.
Sometimes some people have help, some
Mhm.
people don't.
Yeah.
And
I had
help.
a yes, I had a super team. My
Oh,
team was
that's good.
my husband and my daughter, two people, and that was it. That's all we had. We had aides to
And
come in, but they didn't stay. Either they
right.
couldn't do the workload, it was too much for them, they would
Yeah.
call out. So we just took it upon ourselves to rotate nightly, and we just did it ourselves. And like I said, to God be the glory,
Yeah.
because it was rough. The night she was in pain. Oh my
Mm,
mom, she
Yeah.
was in pain. She had this jaw pain every night, every night.
Wow.
I had to sit with her constantly, 24/7.
Yeah.
So it was tough. Yeah.
That reminds me, Wanda and Lady Inda. So my I have memories of my grandmother. And my mom was her primary caregiver.
mhm,
And he, like you
Mhm.
said, the pain. And I remember
Mhm.
screaming, literally screaming.
mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um, and I still can remember that today. So
Mhm.
it's interesting that you would bring that up, because it does take a lot. It takes a lot out of you. And we're going to
Yes.
add on. Somebody else is coming in. We're going to add him into the mix. I know. There he is.
Here.
He
You can't hear?
That's
can't hear us. Okay, yeah, we're still having that technical problem, but we can see you. We can hear you.
mhm.
Um, okay, so let's do this. I'm not sure what's happening, but we're gonna continue to believe God, because I know this man of God has something to say.
Yes, he does.
And I'm assuming he
Yes.
still can't hear us, but we can hear him. And if I can just get that message that we can hear him, that would be great. We can probably do that. But Lady India, what would a
Mhm.
typical day be like for you?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Typical day would be First, I would have to get myself together. And I would say me first because if I couldn't take care of me, I would never be able to take care of her. So I would make sure I had my vitamins, give me some breakfast, maybe take a walk down the street, just get my strength together for my
Right.
task at hand. And I would go in there, I would give her meds. The meds was always first because she would be in pain constantly. The meds wouldn't work. I would make up my own regimen to try to help her, which didn't work. We'll end up calling 911, going to the emergency almost 2 times a week,
Wow.
Yeah.
changing. I would change her. After you change and get dressed, it would be an accident again. So I had to take everything all off again and redo it. Maybe 2 or 3 times that happened. We had
Right.
a
Right.
Hoyer lift, and a Hoyer lift, it can transfer from the bed to the wheelchair. So we
Mhm.
did that to get her back and forth. And it was very time consuming. It was tiring. I couldn't really do what I needed to do or had to do. I couldn't have time for myself. It was always
Mm-hmm.
with, and I thank
Yeah.
God for my husband. Like I said, we rotated nightly and my daughter, and that's all we had. And she would always say, "Just put me in a nursing home. Just put me in a nursing home so you can go, have your life." I said, "Ma, I am not putting you in no nursing home. You're gonna be here with me."
Right. Right. Right.
But I will always say, you are in God's care no matter what happens. You're in His care, and that will really calm her down, knowing that she will be taken care of no matter what. So I'm grateful
That's
for them times talking to her.
Yeah. So I sent a message to my husband in regards to answering the first question, so we can hear.
Mhm.
Just see if we can hear him. If he can answer the first question, and I don't know if he see me or not. But go ahead, darling. Answer the first question if you see me.
Okay, I believe I'm supposed to be answering the question.
Yes, you're
Can
good.
you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, well, I can't hear you. I don't understand why I can't hear you.
Okay.
Okay, well, it must be my laptop. All right, so in answering the first question, what is it like being a caregiver? Um, it can be rewarding at times, it could be exhausting at times, it could be um, a labor of love, definitely, at all times. And it's it is an experience and it can be exhausting, but I mean, if you care for someone that you love and desire them to either get better or just live comfortably, it's worth anything and everything that you do. So it doesn't matter at times your exhaustion. You're breathing life and care into somebody else, so it's important
Yeah.
that you continue. And sometimes, again, depending how long the time frame is, a caregiver can need their own help, and times of break, in their giving of care, but still and yet the labor is of love, and it is nothing that you wouldn't do for the one that you love, in your desire for them to either live comfortably or get well and get better.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome. So I know he can't hear us, and I'm actually calling him now. So we're not together, so that's why we're having this little difficulty. But I am calling him now, so
Yeah, we
that
hear the phone.
yeah. So I'm going to turn my volume down
Thank
so
you.
you can hear me. So
Praise Jesus.
you mute your. No, I got my unmute, so that's not
You have
going to
to.
work either. You see this technical stuff? Y'all pray for us because I have no idea how to fix this. I have no idea. So just hold on, honey.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do right there. But I have to say, what he was saying really touched home for me because that labor of love. And this is an interesting dialogue, Wanda, because where Lady India's mom is not with us right now, and I know that she just from conversations with her when she was here, I know she so appreciated what she did for her. So this is like, it's almost like I can feel that for both of us right now. If you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So it's like I can feel that labor of love. I'm like, God, you were just so awesome. But everybody don't have somebody. And that's the sad part. When people don't have somebody that will care for them, that will love them in spite of. Okay.
Well,
All right.
it's like, yeah, because you're gonna break down quiet. Let me,
Yeah.
it's like both Pastor Hector and Lady India said, it's definitely a labor of love, and like she said, it starts in here. So if you don't have it in here, you're
Right.
not going to do it. And a lot of folks, because it can be so exhausting, and because it can be so draining, a lot of people just don't have it in them to do that because it can be so draining.
Yeah.
And even though we didn't say much about it, Pastor Hector Foy was a caregiver for his wife when she was going through her pancreatic cancer and had to have surgery, and for at least a year was in rehabilitation, trying to get back to walking and everything. So he cared for her, and he did an excellent job. Excellent job. He also helps her take care of her mother. So I understand, and I've seen it firsthand. Like I said, my oldest sister was my mother's main caretaker. We moved my mother in with her, and she lived with my oldest sister. She took care of her, but we would help too. We would, rotate. My middle sister and my brother would also, take some of that burden off of her. So, thank God for help. And, I thank God for your husband and your daughter, Lady Inda, because I know that help was needed.
Yeah.
If it was nothing more than to give you a chance to sleep. Like you said, so you could walk in the morning, get yourself together, build up that strength. It's so important. So, I thank God for the caregivers of the world, because y'all do an awesome job, and it is a labor of love. So,
And we just want to pause and thank those who joined in on tonight. We appreciate all of you coming on. Please do put your questions in the chat, and your comments are welcome as well, because I know that they want to hear from you as well. Yeah. So let's go to our next question. Wanda.
I think one that I think everybody, most of us would be interested. How do you handle challenging or stressful situations when you're caring for a loved one? How do you get through that? I know Lady India was saying, but by the grace of God.
Right.
But physically or mentally, what is it that you do to help yourself get through those situations?
Well, I mean, since Lady India went
For
first,
me, for you.
Okay. So myself, the strength that I gained was, one, through prayer and knowing that this is just a season, this is just a time in which my job is to nurture and care for my wife until she get better, because she's gonna get better, and that was my mentality. Even when she was going through everything, and everybody's situation is not the same, but I prayed to the Lord, and I was like, listen, this is the woman that you and the wife that you gave me, and this season and time in my life, you just cannot take her away from me. So we are going to go through this thing together, and she is going to be healed, walking her healing, and I'm going to do everything necessary for her to get better. We have 4 children, and they were young in that period of time, very much. And I said, and this was not a plan for me to do this alone. So your plan is my plan, and my plan is your plan for her to get better. And me to minister to her until she get better and be able to move into the things that God has called her unto. Because still and yet there was a ministry and things that was still yet birthing in her, and I knew that had not come to pass as of yet. So I knew this was just a period and season of time in which We as a family, we as a married couple needed to go through for that test and testimony of victory. Because everybody don't live to have that end story of victory, but to know that even there is victory in this, still and yet. And we can be that example for those that may be going through, that
Yeah.
you can, and God will deliver, heal, and give you the strength to do what's necessary to be done through prayer and even through family, as mentioned, that we will continue, and make it through the situation. I mean, there was times where I had to carry her, I had to, bathe her. I mean, there was many situations in which, I mean, yeah, you could be exhausted at the end of the day, but there is a routine in which you become accustomed to, and which your daily schedule, and it
Yeah.
makes it easier that way. And then when
Yeah.
people can fit in that schedule of your life, then it gives you that break of, a breather in
Right.
which you can, continue to do what God's called you to do, because you have to have the passion and heart to be a caregiver. You have the passion and heart
That's the
to,
truth.
to be able to minister to somebody when they're in those kind of situations, because we met people while we were there going through, her recovery. And I mean, there was husbands that left their wives. There was, you
Right.
know, family members that just could not bear to see, their loved one in that manner. So they would not come around and help or do anything. So they had to get outside help. So, to even see that it takes strength, it takes that love, and it takes, that the strength of God to even endure, and that faith and faith walk.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Lady India, we saw you like, just agreeing and like you're resonating with that.
It's
Tell
just,
us
oh
about
my God.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, oh boy. Difficult situations. Prayer first. I would have to pray every day, daily, um, for the Lord to help me, knowing, that no one will come over to assist us.
Mhm.
All my family is gone. I have
Wow.
cousins, but I don't have cousins. You know what I mean? No
Hmm.
one will come. Um, Self care would help a lot. Self
Mhm.
care, walking, worship, cleaning will help. That will help me get,
We got a lot of cleaning
but
done.
yes, yes, yes. My mom, she loves celebrations. She loves celebration. She loved dressing up and looking beautiful. So even if she wasn't going anywhere, I would dress her up, make her look beautiful, and set her in the living room, and she would enjoy it. She
Mhm.
would have a smile on her face, and that would make my day. She was very, very content. I miss her so.
Mhm.
I'm sure. I'm
But
sure.
I'm glad. I'm glad. You know what comes to my mind? The scripture when it says, "Honor thy mother and father." God
Mhm.
entrusted me to help this lady, so I had to held up my end.
Mhm.
Hallelujah! And say, Lord, you said take care of her. You put her in my care until she go back into your care. And I kept
Mhm.
that in my mind. And that
Mhm.
helped me to go on daily, daily. Okay, God, you got it.
Yeah.
It was like a tag team, like man, we got it. It was really, really, it was something. It was something.
Wow.
Her face, it was really something.
Yeah. So God is the one that gets us through these things.
Oh yes.
Yes.
And
Oh
like
yes.
you both mentioned the scriptures and word, and that's
Mm-hmm.
something to focus on. Joe, that's part of the self-care too, right?
Right.
Yes.
I think about, like even Wanda and I often talk about how God brings us through different things and how we,
Yes.
lean on his word
You
to
have
see
to.
Mm-hmm.
through. Right.
Yes.
Because it's his
Yes.
word that, and that encourages us, that helps us fight not only the caregiver, but the person that's
Mm-hmm.
going through it. One of the things that
Mm-hmm.
I often would say, being that I've been on both sides, I will often say to those who are being cared for to always consider the person that's caring for you as well. So I
Mm,
want to put that out there, and even on tonight, for those who may have a caregiver, always consider the person that's taking care of you. You may want something, you may want it right at that moment, but consider the fact that they may be doing, doing something at that time for you that's more important that you may not think is important, but you just don't know. So
right.
keeping those things in mind. I remember having that conversation with my dad when he was going through his situation, and he called my mom for something. And my mom was just so gracious and just loving on him, creaming her coffee and all that stuff, right? And he was called. I said, "Okay, Dad, let Mom do that first, and then she can get to that," you know, because I was doing something else at that time, so I wanted to make sure I stayed focused on my assignment that he asked me to do. But I wanted him to realize that give her a moment to do that. It was not that he was rushing her, which was not when you just calling out, right? Calling out for this. Oh, and could you give her time to do that first, right? So we have to consider that. So I just want to mention that for those who are, again, being cared for, consider the caregiver. Like Lady India said, they need, that self-care.
Right.
Because guess what? If you're down as a caregiver, then you can't do your job.
Exactly. That's what Lady India was saying. Your mom reminds me of Bridget. Bridget was just saying in the chat that her husband's comfort and his and concern for him meant more to her than anything else. So, and that's how your mom was with your dad, that, whatever he needed, that came first before anything. And sometimes you can wear yourself out, but at the same time, that there goes that labor of love, because you love them. So you just do it. You do what you have to do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's true. We have to appreciate each other, right?
right. One of the listeners is saying that you have to identify your resources as well.
Mhm.
And thank God Lady India had her husband and her daughter as part of those resources, because you have to look for resources outside of your home and your family as well, because sometimes you need to go to a help group, just to go and talk, know you're not alone, that somebody else is going through what you're going through, or maybe they have some ideals that you can use to help you get through it. So that's part of taking care of yourself.
That's true. And the other part of that is the other question, or one thing we want to talk about, is how important is communication when you are as a caregiver? Because not only communication with the doctors and all the caretakers there, but also communication between the two that are working together, and between the family. If you have a family, because like ladies, you have a family. My husband has a family. You have a family. So how important is communication in this process?
Well,
Lady, start here.
yeah, the only I'm a very open book person. So how I talk is just how I feel inside. And the family that I have is the family that I live with. That's my family. That's my only family. Um, we talk, we sit at the table, we let each other know what's going on, what we need assistance with, and how we're going to come together to bring everything so it'll work, to make the household, run. My two boys, my daughter, and my husband, we come together and explain to the children what's going on. And when my mom was here, they would want to go out, and we couldn't go. We had to stay home and take care of mom. You know, we had to call people and say, well, can I give you a couple dollars? Stay a couple hours till we go to the movies. We couldn't go to movies. We couldn't go to dinner. We couldn't do anything because she needed 24-hour care. And I was a 24-hour caregiver. And that's what it was. So now it's like she's not here. So now I'm living my best life. I'm trying to do what I didn't do before and what she would wanted me to do. Because she would always say, you go ahead, put me in a nursing home. Go ahead and do what you got to do. I said, Mommy, I'm staying with you. Staying with me. Don't worry about it. You're going to be fine. I said, I'll do what I got to do at another time. But I wanted her to be loved, because at the end, when she did have to go in hospice, I tell you one thing, I wish I was there 24/7, because she didn't receive the care she did at home.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That is
And
so
a lot of times that is the case in those, because they deal with so many
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they can give that individual care as though a family person
Right.
would.
Right.
But if you care for someone that is recovering from, a situation which my wife uh, was at that time, we had a community of help, but not so much in house, but
Mhm.
outhouse.
Mm-hmm.
We had people that would
Good.
prepare food. That I
My
wouldn't have
goodness.
to cook or worry about that and those kind of things. We
Yeah.
and we had a prayer group. That what
Hmm.
just
That's good too. Yeah.
even now, just thinking about knowing that there are those that are
Mhm.
praying for you and the family. That means so much. There. If you can't do anything, just pray.
Right.
But
Right.
we had a
Right.
community of that took care of certain things. And remember, we still had small children that saw the whole transition of and was present during
Yeah.
and we I think we made it look easy. I think we did make it look easy because
Mhm.
I feel God was just carrying us in such a way that it looked,
Mhm.
and He made it easy. So we had those that prepared food that in the freezer. We could pull out at any time and just have it prepared. For us, we had those that again prayer, and those that would pick up my children from school or do whatever was necessary so everybody will be in their proper places and all, and it just all worked together and came together. We had a community. Now they didn't all live in our area because we was up in what they say the outskirts of New Jersey.
Millersburg.
We was close to Pennsylvania, like at the borderline. So there was no actual family out there, but we did have family in Pennsylvania that helped us, also cousins and stuff that kept us in mind. And if we needed anything, they were present and they were there. So we had a community of help, that definitely was there, there in love, there in prayer. And if I did need anything, they would definitely be there to assist. And it's a great joy to know. And hearing Lady India's situation, every case is different, and I feel for that. But when you have a community that helps, that's present, that's there, that looks out, that just makes sure all needs are met, that it makes the load easier on you, that you'll be able to sustain even yourself and your health
Yeah,
in
yeah,
those
yeah,
different situations.
yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Mhm.
Well, I know we're just about out of time. This has been a great conversation, and I think that people have learned a lot how to appreciate each other,
Mhm.
how communication is key. And I know Bridget had mentioned about communication being paramount, and it's so true. We say it all the time, communication is everything. You have to communicate. And one thing I thought was key that she said too is talk it through calmly.
Calmly. That's right. Because emotions can get high. And a whole lot of misunderstanding when you're emotional.
Oh yes, yes.
And you're in pain or you're tired, you got one in pain, one tired, or vice versa. Yeah, emotions can definitely fly.
Mhm.
So we appreciate both of you coming on and
Thank
sharing,
you
being
so much. So much.
and sharing your thoughts. There's so much more we could talk about. It's funny, why not always, we struggle with how many episodes, so to speak, with each topic because it's so much to talk about. But guess what? November is coming around again.
Right? And the chat is always open, so feel free to continue to make comments, or if you have resources that people can use, please list them down there so people can
Yes.
get involved and find the help that they need. So continue the conversation.
That's good one. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yes, about putting that stuff in the chat because I know some people mentioned about outside resources. You have those, please, by all means, because we have other people that come on later or listen to the replay.
Right.
Be blessed by you doing that. And if you have a story you want to share, please do share it. We're right on Facebook. You go by Sister Friends. Let's talk about it. And we would really appreciate it. Wow, that's great. So thank you.
Thank you.
There for joining us. We're gonna we'll meet you in the back in the green room. If you just hold on with us, that'd be great. All right. Wow, Wanda. What awesome.
Hats off to
Right.
both them and to all the caregivers, because like I said, we've been there with family members who were going through, so we understand the struggle as well as the joy, and sometimes that it can be overwhelming. So we appreciate them for coming on, and we appreciate all of you for your comments in the chat. And as we always say, the conversation doesn't have to end here, but you can continue to talk amongst yourselves in the chat, and we'll respond to you if we get time. We will respond to you. So let's continue this, because it's good information and it helps other people.
For sure. And I just want to give a shout out to my mom. Working with her and just being able to care for her is a blessing for me.
Right.
So, and we often talk about this. I said, you're never a burden. And that's something we should let those who we're caring for know, that they're never a burden. Because like they said, a labor of love.
Right.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
I know that's right. You're doing an awesome job.
Yeah. Appreciate couldn't do it without other people, our family coming together, and people like you, Wanda, who just love my mother as well. So thank you for loving my mother the way you do.
Yes, Mom. Love you, Ma.
Oh yeah, she told me to tell you. Did she love you? She's gonna get me because I didn't tell you right away.
Oh, I'm telling. I am telling.
Wow. All right, sister friend. Here we go.
Thank you so much for joining us, and continue to keep us and all the caregivers in prayer. And like we said, we want you to continue the conversation, because it doesn't have to end here. But we have so much to talk about and so many other topics. So, Sister Friend, can we talk?
Sister friend, let's talk about it.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
One another, talking about issues that we're all facing, good, bad, indifferent. Let's talk about it from one sister to another. Let's talk about it.